my FYP on on Instagram, Tik TikTok, whatever the fuck the social media is. I'm a little angry right now, so please forgive me. All right, I'm 47 years old. So the only martial art that I haven't really heard of is the stuff that come out of the Philippines and that new Salat shit. And I'm not real fond of Krav Maga. Now, I'm not one to put down someone for their martial arts skills, paralysis, or whatever. That's not why I'm here. But I am going to tell you that at 47 years old, I've probably done more martial arts than most people. Do I have a belt? No. But I have beaten many of people who have a belt in martial arts styles. Understand that a belt is only a structured thing. A belt is kind of like racism. All right? It is structured so that it can maintain law and order in a dojo. All right? Understand that. Because I know a few white belts that can beat the brakes off of black belts. But that's because those white belts never intended on getting belts. They just wanted to learn how to fight. All right? So understand that. So I left a comment in a guy's thing on TikTok. No disrespect intended. Just to get that out there. That's why I'm making these two videos. So what a lot of you fail to understand is that I'm 47. If I'm telling you about a martial art, it's more than likely that I have personally taken that martial art. So before BJJ came into existence in the 90s, back in the 70s, 80s, in the late 80s and early 90s when BJJ started becoming a thing. Before that, there was a jiu-jitsu that involved standing. All right? It was an offset of judo. At least that's what I was taught. So it's not Brazilian jiu-jitsu that I'm good at. I suck at that shit. And a young man in the comment section, not the guy who owns the video, but another guy commented on my comment because I asked him, why don't you use just old school jiu-jitsu, which is standing jiu-jitsu? It is kind of like Wing Chun, only more Japanese orientated, for those who have no idea what that is. All right, so for old school jiu-jitsu, you know, if you get regular jiu-jitsu, you have the same basic holds with the exception of the lower extremities. All right, because in old school jiu-jitsu, you weren't on the ground. All right, so anybody who's like 35 and down, you've probably never heard of old school jiu-jitsu. You probably only know Brazilian jiu-jitsu and that new sports jiu-jitsu shit where you're still sitting on your ass but you're doing jiu-jitsu. Alright? Now a lot of old school jiu-jitsu where like if I throw a punch and I get you, I can get you in a lock. And I'm gonna knee you and I'm gonna twist your lock and your arm's gonna be behind your back. As you go, like using Nagata lock. Well, part of the Nagata lock is connected to one of the locks in old school standing jiu-jitsu. There was a standing jiu-jitsu. For those, I was born in 73. So 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. Now I'm 6 years old. 79, 80, I'm turning 7. Now back when I was 6, I was fighting until I was 12 years old. Because my uncles decided that it would be a good thing for the smallest child in the bunch to go out and start fighting all these kids. So every other day, every weekend, whenever they felt like making me fight, I fought. When I learned martial arts, I got bit by a horse. I was 7. So it started happening after that. And then I just kept fighting. I started getting good. I started picking up other stuff. I started with karate. To the fucking sensei who taught me karate from the age of 7 to 10. Thank you. Then I switched over to Kung Fu. I went from Kung Fu to Taekwondo, and then various martial arts in between that, plus Kempo. And amongst those various martial arts was standing jiu-jitsu as well as judo. So those who don't understand judo, one principle of judo is, if I'm pushing you, you're going to turn my momentum against me. So I'm pushing you, you're going to grab me, you're going to pull, you're going to twist your waist, you're going to pop your hip, and you're going to flip me. And that can come in the form of me throwing a punch, and you're going to grab my wrist from the inside. So it's going to be boom, boom. You're going to use your ass, and you're going to flip me. All right? There's also where you're going to block my punch, elbow me, step through. If you watch, what's her name in Tekken 2, I think, Jin's mother from Tekken 2, where she grabs you and she turns through and all that. That's not just Crane, Kung Fu, or Karate. It is also a step in Judo. Alright? So for those who don't understand that, if you watch Tekken and you can recognize some styles, then you'll know where I come from. So anyway, there's a lot of things in Jiu-Jitsu that is similar to standing Judo as well as Jiu-Jitsu. Because when I was being taught Jiu-Jitsu, I was learning it from a Judo instructor who was teaching me the shit standing up. And so when you see Asuka grab somebody and flip them into an armbar, that's when shit started elevating from standing locks to sit-down locks. A lot of Judo, when someone throws a punch and you step to the outside, you can lock them under the arm, and your arm's going to lock their shit. You're going to lock them in, and you're going to raise up, hyperextend the elbow, or you're going to snap the shit. So if their arm, this part of their arm is straight through and you've caught them, you can do like this and proc the elbow, because their elbow is going to be in. It's going to be by your body, so you're going to be able to clap up and stop them. This is parts of standing Jiu-Jitsu. The shit that you are not learning in BJJ is because now BJJ is all about groundwork, all right? And if you got good groundwork and you're a BJJ expert, good for you. I suck at BJJ. So when I was taking it in the Army, I've learned a few ways of how to stop it. They always paired me with a guy who was way bigger than me. My partner was like 6'6", maybe bigger, and every bit of 200 plus pounds. I could not move him with the C cup and the clamp and the roll without using your feet, just your waist. That shit wasn't working for me. I was 130 pounds, period. He was damn near 300 pounds, and he's sitting across my chest, all right? So, first off, in a real fight, if he's up there on me, I done fucked up. Straight the fuck up. I done fucked up. So, this C-clamp shit, while he's dropping hammers onto my face, let's live in reality. If someone's straddling you and they're beating the fucking dog shit out of you, the last thing you're thinking is, C-clamp, and I'm a roller. No, because you're getting your fucking face caved in. So you're gonna be thinking something else. Like, fuck this shit, let me cover this shit up so I can come up with a plan to get the fuck from under him. So in BJJ, while I was in the Army, when he would grab me by the lapel and I'm trying to do this, when the drill sergeant wasn't looking, I literally put my head into his fucking testicles without a second doubt, because I knew for a second, I'm not going to get this big guy off of me. But I'm damn sure not going to stay under him long enough for him to whoop my ass. But I'm pretty sure the young man that commented on me doesn't know about how it's done in the Army versus how it's done in the actual dojo. All right, now we were taught by drill sergeants, who were probably taught by people who were IBJJF or whatever the fuck it is, certified by the BJJ people, because the military does annex martial artists, actual martial artists, in. Now here's where there's a clusterfuck and a twisting thing, and I owe everything that I'm about to say to McDojo's life. So thank you, Rob, because he said there was no governing body, and therefore another sensei that I also follow also said that you don't legally have to have a black belt to teach martial arts. Now that fucked me up, because all the years in the 80s and the 90s in Virginia, I have been told that I had to register my hands. I have been told I had to get a black belt. I had to get a first degree black belt to teach in any school, and I had to get a fifth degree black belt to open my own. So that stopped me from doing anything, because in all these dojos here in Virginia, you must break this block of wood. Now you have broken the block of wood, which proves absolutely fucking nothing. It proves that you are strong and that you can break a block of wood. You must break this brick. Oh, that also proves that you are strong, but it does not prove that you can fight. It only proves, hey, you're strong as fuck. You broke a fucking brick that can't move, that can't dodge, that can't hit you back. So yeah, we're gonna go there for people who don't seem to understand. A lot of brick breaking and shit ain't got a damn thing to do with martial arts. That's just something to keep your fucking ass occupied. That's something that, oh, did I mention you could probably break your fucking hand, because the hand is the easiest bone to break in a fight. Which again, in jiu-jitsu, I was always told, you feel it out and you never hit with everything you got. Whereas in Wing Chun, it was, you don't close until impact. Whereas in karate, it was always keep your fist closed, etc., etc. In Kempo, it was, you can keep your hands open or closed, because you're going to either close on impact or you're going to break and then strike. So therefore, if you're going to break and then strike, you can't break if you can't grab. So I can't grab you, I can't use Kempo, and I can't use standing Jiu-Jitsu. I also can't really use Wing Chun because I'm not grappling and grabbing and striking. I'm just blocking. Now, for your karate blocks and counters, for those who did old school freestyle karate with no katas like myself, block and strike. But the downside of that is, if you're on the other side, you can block and strike. So you're going to be blocking and striking all damn day. So my left blocks his right, his left blocks my right. You see where I'm going with that? Where if I'm doing kung fu and he throws a left and I block and step to the outside, I snap, and the fight's done. Because I'm going to break an elbow, I'm going to slide up his arm, and I'm going to hit him in the fucking throat. I'm not fighting to win. I'm fighting to survive. That is the fucking difference maker versus all those people who are belt champions and all that shit. I'm 47. I can't be playing with you young bucks. If I'm going to hit you, I'm hitting you to hurt you. And I'm not hitting you to hurt you because it's something that I need to do. It's something that I want to do. It's just something that's going to have to happen because that's what I was trained to do. And that's the thing you have to understand when you're doing standing jiu-jitsu. It's the same thing as the groundwork, only you're not going after your fucking ankles. You're not going after knee locks and toe holds and none of that shit. Everything is going to be an arm and a neck or some shit like that. Because yes, old school standing jiu-jitsu may no longer exist, but it did exist because I took that shit. So if someone's throwing a punch, and I'm going to use jiu-jitsu and I'm going to use kung fu at the same time, I'm going to get to the outside, I'm going to wrap my arm over their arm. I'm not going to wrap it under, I'm going to wrap it over. So now I have them, their arm is fully extended through this hole here, and I got options. I can break it this way, I can break it back this way, and then I can get around their head and hold their arm at the same time, and then I can take them down. Now, for those who have never seen that, because I do not have a training partner, you'll just probably have to go Google that shit. But here's the thing. When you mix your martial arts, you have a better chance of fighting someone, and you'll be more well-rounded, and you'll be able to fight a lot better with mixing your styles versus sticking with one style. Now, before I get anybody pissed off that does BJJ, this is how BJJ works. Understand this shit. You can get mad at me all you fucking want, but I'm gonna drop the truth. And for all you BJJ practitioners, let me apologize to you for offending you or pissing you off. BJJ is great for those that are good at it. I suck at it. So while I was in the army, I learned two things. One, that I suck at it. And two, how to defeat somebody who doesn't. Because in case y'all don't watch a lot of your BJJ videos, which you probably do, and if you don't, then you probably should. If you study how BJJ works, because someone's got to come in. They have to come in, they have to sprawl, they got to come in. So they're going to go for a single leg or a double leg, and right here, you're mine. Understand that shit. If we're in the streets, you're mine. In the dojo, yeah, it's going to happen. You're going to take me down. I'm going to expect to either get body slammed, tackled, speared, etc. But in the streets, when you're coming in for this single leg or double leg takedown, you're eating a fucking knee. Period. Boom. Because you already fed me your head. You fed me your head when you were going for the takedown. So since you're feeding me your head, boom, I'm going to just use my knee. It's the closest thing I have right there, unless I'm going to use an elbow. Now, in the gym, that shit's illegal, which is why you will be able to take me down. In the streets, that shit's not illegal, because there are no fucking rules out here. We fighting in the street, you about to use some BJJ on me, you're about to find out how the B in BJJ means bad day for you. Because if I can't stop you from taking me down, I'm going to roll with it. Which goes back to judo. For those who do not know, there are judo rolls for when you are getting tackled. If you've played Street Fighter 2, Ken does a judo roll. And he rolls you all the way up and then he throws you. That is part of judo. But I'm pretty sure y'all probably don't recognize that shit because old school judo does not exist anymore. Now only Olympic judo exists. And you'll be lucky if you can find an Olympic judo person that's going to teach you proper judo techniques that does not involve Olympic sports. As with all things, once martial arts transitions over into more of a sport style of martial art, it becomes a showman's martial art. My favorite, wushu, is just that. It is a showman's martial art. You rarely see people training in old school wushu so that you actually learn how to fucking use the shit versus that shit. Alright? So, from here, I can go into Drunken Master. I can go into Crane or Snake. I can go into a lot of shit from that position. Alright? But because Wushu has become more of a showman's martial art, it is more, I'm a show off versus I'm going to actually fight. Alright? Where with Wing Chun, boom! You know, that my strike. My low fu kick, boom, boom, boom. Block's always there, just in case. So boom, boom. And same thing with the pushing hands, boom, boom, boom. You understand? Now for the standing jiu-jitsu, you can combine that shit when you push off and lock up, snap, and then you can elbow. There are things in standing jiu-jitsu that I can only show you if I had a fucking training partner, but I do not. So you have to just bear with that shit. Now think about martial arts. In the 80s and in the 90s, things started to evolve. And when they started to evolve, as everything does, things change. It's the same thing with Shaolin Ryu and Shaolin Kung Fu, Northern or Southern. I do not remember which, but one Shaolin Kung Fu kicks are always low, like Gung Fu. One Shaolin kicks are always mid-range and high. Boom. So you have to understand that evolution happens. Now some Shaolin combine both high and low. And then Shaolin Ryu's on a whole nother level. And then I just learned about Shaolin Kempo. I didn't take Shaolin Kempo, I took Okinawa Kempo. Or at least that's what the person who was teaching me called it. Now, here's the thing. This is a tornado kick in Taekwondo. It is also a hurricane kick in Kempo. Do not ask me why the names are different for the same fucking kick. Now for Taekwondo, we were specifically taught left, right, or left, right, and then straight, which would be more something that I no longer can do. But we're going to attempt it just for you. So here, pop, pop, pop. Alright? Now, if you want to do traditional Kung Fu with that, it would look more like this. Pop, pop, pop. So I turned my foot instead of keeping it to the side. So I start off with the 2 round kicks. Boom, 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 which is the original. And then we go with the Kung Fu shit. Boom, boom, boom. So I turned it. That way my toe is facing forward instead of my foot facing to the side. Now what you fail to understand in that is all martial arts are related on some level or another. And you have to figure out what's going to work best for you. So if you're doing standing gripples and graps, so let's say you want to do more tiger. So if you're going to tiger, snap, and break, so instead of going above to the throat, you may go below to the ribs. Or you can change it into eagle when you crack here, and then you can go under and come up to the throat, which will still be tiger as well. Just depends on who's teaching you what at the fucking time. Understand that. Now, I try to reserve myself to speaking to mostly karate and kung fu because they're easier for my old ass to remember, and they're easy for my old ass to attempt now because my hip doesn't work like it used to. So my pops on this side, boom, boom, I won't be able to get it effective. I can feel that there's no power in this leg whatsoever. There's not been any power in this leg since my hip replacement. So if I have to use power, I have to use kicks that are more basic, that are simple, because I know I can drain the power from the outside to inside crescent kick or inside to outside crescent kick. So outside to inside, boom, I can turn that power in. Inside to outside, boom, I still have it. I have to work harder because this hip does not function like it did when it was mine, when my organic hip was in there versus this metal thing that keeps me walking. Alright? Which means this one's gonna need one tip. Now the thing about fighting is you gotta understand how sequences work. This sequence here will probably get you hurt. However, it's just as effective. So my first kick, boom, boom. Alright? Now I placed him in a position where that would work. But if I miss this high kick, everything from this position was his. All he had to do, bow. Is he throwing a crescent kick, step back, boom, or step back and push? If he steps back or pushes it all the way around, and my round kick misses its mark, I'm going to be fucked up. I understand that. Now, a lot of standing jiu-jitsu kicks were basically an axe kick, because this is what I was taught. You don't have to believe me. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to drop 99.9. So, with my jiu-jitsu, strike, boom, it's the same kick I learned in Taekwondo. The exact same fucking kick. It's also the same kick that I learned in freestyle karate. It's the same kick that I learned in Kung Fu. See what I'm saying? So, standing jiu-jitsu did exist. Doesn't so much, because now everybody's, I'm gonna tackle you. I'm a Brazilian jiu-jitsu your shit. I'm gonna get on top of your chest. Either I'm gonna straddle you, or I'm gonna get side mount, or full guard, or whatever the fuck they call that shit. I'm gonna get that. Not on me, you're not. Now, if I'm rolling with you in the gym, yeah, I kinda gotta let you do it because we're rolling. That's how that shit works. In a real fight, I'll be damned if you're gonna get me on my back. And you're gonna hatch all holy hell to get this 125-pound frame of problem to my back. And let's say that you do. Let's say that you do. So I have made videos on YouTube where I put my TV in front of my camera here and pointed out what people don't do, but they should do. When you are in the fetal position, these bitches are free to go. While you're fighting to protect your arm, your ass is free to go. Use your fucking knees. No one teaches you that. But Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu's the shit. Not from where I stay. Because if I'm on my back and I'm fighting you for this arm, I'm fighting you. This is your arm, this is my arm. Now my arm is under your arm trying to get the grip so that you can't break the hold. And then what are you going to do? You're going to put one foot here and push it because your feet are stronger than your hands. So if I let that happen, I deserve the tap. Straight up. I deserve the tap. Because I'm holding here, your foot's going to go here, you're on this side, I'm holding. And you got two arms over here, you're trying to pull this way. And I got a hell of a grip. But you're going to put your foot here and push that bitch off. But the whole time you're on top of my side, you're going to be eating knees. Because I'm not going to be one of those guys that's just going to panic and let that shit fucking happen. So while you're over here and your body's right here on top of me, trying to reel my shit in, I'm in the fetal position, like this, trying to keep you from reeling my shit in. These knees are going to eat your shit up. Now I want you guys to pay attention when I tell you that shit. I want you to go back and watch all these UFCs with Gracie and how the guys that Gracie's are fighting are never defending themselves from the back with their knees. Never. Because somewhere in the line, y'all think that that shit doesn't make sense. But hey, who am I? I don't do BJJ. I do standing fighting. I understand that shit. Because if you can't get me down, your BJJ's no good. I understand that. So, if you've been here long enough, stay tuned for part 2. Instagram, you can go find part 2 on Kung Fu Havoc number 2.